Welcome back to another Conductor Sunday live stream. I know it's not Sunday, but it's the next closest thing. It's Monday. And I'm joined by two fantastic guests that we've had on the show many times before. George, the Disney Italiano from Hollow Gelato with his spicy Italian opinions about the parks. I absolutely love it. And the world famous Tommy Toon World with his world famous food reviews. Go check them out on YouTube because they're absolutely fire, must see before you head to the parks. But George, I'm going to start with you. Where can everyone find you on social media?
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on Hollow Gelato on YouTube, where Abby and I cover not just the theme parks, but just many different events, life in general, but we more so cover, Disney, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, the Disney Cruise Line. And you could also find our adventures on Instagram under Hollow Gelato as well.
Absolutely. Always great to have you, George. And my partner in crime when it comes to the theme parks, boots on the ground, Mr. Tommy Toon World. How you doing? And where can everyone find you on social media?
Man, how's it going, Conductor? I'm happy to be back. What's up, George? I'm excited to talk shop today. Man, I'm glad to be back on Conductor live stream. I missed it. I'm excited to talk all this construction updates. Holidays are coming up too. Big plans next year. But yeah, man, you can find me on YouTube at TommyToon_world. That's where all my Vegas theme park food reviews are at. Also, Instagram, that more day-to-day, TommyToon_. And they can catch me on TikTok. I just hit 800. So I'm trying to get that to 1,000. Hopefully, maybe before the new year. But yeah, that's at TommyToon_world. So yeah, get me on there.
Absolutely. And again, Tommy Toon World with the world's famous reviews, and Hollow Gelato with his very unique out of theater reaction videos. It's a must see if you want to go check out a movie in the theater. If the theaters aren't dead to most people, because most people just like to sit on their couch at home and stream the movie. But if you are a theater moviegoer, I definitely encourage you to go check out Hollow Gelato for those out of theater reviews, and Tommy Toon World for those food reviews. If you're going to the parks during the holidays to see what the world famous Tommy Toon World says about those foods before you try them yourself. But I want to thank everybody in the chat, especially our wonderful moderator, our newest moderator, Haunted Mermaid 13. Always great to have her in the chat. And shout out to her. She is a cast member at Disneyland and got my hands go together for you because customer service is not easy. Me and George and Tommy, all three of us know what that's like. And believe me, it's no cakewalk. So hands go out to Haunted Mermaid 13. We got Remy D in the house. We got Giant Peter's Adventure. We got, let's see, who else can I find in here? We got David. Oh, man, it's going to be a great live, fellas. But one of the first things I want to talk about right off the bat, this is from Drew Smith. I want to bring this to your guys' attention because this is something, and George, I'm going to really get your opinion on this because you were at the Honda Center when this was announced at D23 in 2024. But just to recap, we're looking at current concept art, and I love your term of phrase, never get married to concept art. But this is the concept art that Disney put out for the new Avatar experience. And up to recently, they changed the name from experience to destination. So they still refuse to call it a land for whatever god-awful reason. But Drew said, Disney says the Avatar destination coming to Disney California Adventure is still in early development, and we'll share more details later. A closing date for Monsters Incorporated, My Consolidated Rescue, has not been announced. So I want to ask you straight off the bat, the problem I see here, and I talked about this with Orange Go 55 the other day, was that we heard rumblings of this from Bob Iger himself during a quarterly earnings call back in 2022. Then in 2024, you guys saw it at D23 at the Honda Center, which it was announced. Does it concern you at all, George, that the statements, and again, Drew put the statement out, but it's basically coming from Disney that they're still in early development. Does that worry you at all?
What worried me actually was from the very beginning when Iger first made the announcement that Avatar was coming to the Disneyland Resort. That was what he first said, was the Disneyland Resort. We didn't know if it was coming to Disneyland or DCA. And then it leaked out through Imagineering, that it was DCA, but Disney didn't, accept or deny those accusations until D23, when Damaro was on stage and he confirmed, which the piece of concept art that we're looking now, that's what they shared with us. Well, one of them at D23, and he said it's going into Disney California Adventure, which we all kind of speculated it was going to be that anyway. But in any case, going back from the very beginning when Iger first made the announcement, and I believe it was during a shareholders meeting, this was at the time that Iger was first stepping back into the role of CEO after, Disney fired Chapek and what have you. Fans and shareholders and everybody was up in arms about the direction that the company was going. People were not happy. So when Iger first stepped back in, what does he have to do? He has to get people back in his good graces. And what's a better way to do that for the shareholders? Oh, yeah, by the way, we're bringing Avatar to the Disneyland Resort. No finer details than that. It was very vague. It was very short, very brief. It was closer to the end of the call. And I have a funny, sneaky suspicion that after that call was over, Iger then turned to Damaro and said, okay, you got to get the team together. We got to come up with Avatar, because I have a feeling that was never the intention of putting Avatar in DCA. It was never planned. It was just a kind of a spur of the moment thing that Iger had to do to get the shareholders, to get the fans, to get everyone back, kind of saying, okay, Disney's, going to fix their mistakes. They're going to, redo everything. So that's why I feel like even to this point, it has been so very vague that we have not gotten no information. And the only information that seems to be coming out is it's going to come out at a later time. It's going to come out at a later date, because really the Imagineers still don't know what they want out of this land. No. And I think that's why the placement that's going into, for Hollywood studios, that's why we're still all scratching our heads like, how is this really going to work? Now, without giving anything away, I have seen Fire and Ash this past weekend. I definitely encourage people to go see it in theaters, see it in the high depth resolution, 4K, however you can see it, 3D. James Cameron obviously, did a phenomenal job, but there are moments in that movie closer to the end when you kind of get the full scope of what the storyline is. I can see somewhat of how they can fit Pandora into the human world.
Okay.
And there's one character in particular that is linked to that. But I'm not going to say who that character is. I want everyone to go and see the movie for themselves. Tell me what you think about it. And also, a small plug, check out, of course, our out of theater review on Hollow Gelato. But I feel like what we're looking at here, and a lot of the other pieces of concept art too, are showcased in Fire and Ash. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, before I get to Tommy, it's something, and I also mentioned this on OG's channel. I said, well, the thing is, because Disney came out and they have a tendency of any projects they announce for the theme parks, they love to not over exaggerate, but they like to give too many details out before they have concrete facts, if that makes sense. So my whole thing is, because me and you are, all of us are guilty of it. We could be talking on the live stream, or we're at the parks and we say something that we didn't mean to say because we're just caught up in conversation. That's where I agree with you that Bob Iger might have done that during that shareholders meeting. Like, he wasn't supposed to say that, but when you're getting caught up in the excitement and the discussion and whatnot, it blurted out. So my whole thing is, and you and I, George, have talked about this so many times, is the concept art that we see, kind of in outer look of the Sky Bridge coming over harbor into the Esplanade, and the new entrance for that area to get into the Esplanade. And then to the very far left, you have what you like to call Pandora's ass, supposedly, but no detail on that. Do you honestly think now that Pandora might be meant for the Simba parking lot? Because we still have no detail. And like Drew said in this comment, it's pretty stern what he's saying. Still in early development, and I couldn't agree with you more. It's almost like they don't know where to put it, and they don't know how to incorporate it in the DCA. So they're kind of just like they're kind of stirring up conversation, but it's really going nowhere.
I said it before many times, and I'll say it again. In my opinion, and as I said, even though that there could be some ties into, after seeing Fire and Ash, that it could somewhat make sense to put Avatar where it is, I'm still not 100% guaranteed that it's sign, seal, deliver, that Avatar is going to go in the placement that they originally said that they were going to. And here's the thing, they still very well could. But the fact that it was announced in 2023 that they were even going to do this. 2024, they made the initial, concept art and everything, at the D23 Ultimate Fan event. 1 year into that, we are now moving into 2026. That supposedly they're supposed to start all this stuff, and nothing has even been mentioned. I still think there is a possibility, because again, Disney keeps on delaying it, that they're going to put Avatar in the Disneyland Resort. But I still think that they are still trying to figure out where, and there's still a possibility that it may go somewhere else, such as the Simba lot, because also Jack from DSNY, he was giving his list of rundowns of things to look forward to in 2026, and he was kind of giving like timelines of when things were going to be done, and he mentioned Mike and Sully to the Rescue, the first half of 2026.
Yeah.
So that's still not giving us an actual closing date of Monsters Inc., but he's suggesting that it's going to be the first half. So it's going to be the first half of the year. That's fine, but I still wonder if they're going to close that ride down even for something else, even if it's going to be Avatar or not.
No, absolutely a great point. Tommy, I want to ask you the same thing, and your situation's a little bit different, because when you come to visit the Disneyland Resort, you don't have a magic key like me and George do. You buy, 3-day tickets or whatever works for you at the time when you come down and visit. And to see something like this that was first talked about in 2022, and now we're almost to 2026, does it concern you at all, this project? We're even seeing it with the Coco Dark attraction that was already supposed to start construction and hasn't even started construction yet, besides a bunch of spray paint all over the ground outside the resort. That's all we've seen so far of that. Does it concern you from your point of view that prices keep going up? Disney has really nothing to show for those price increases. As a consumer like yourself that buys the tickets and doesn't have a magic key, are you more willing to make more frequent trips? Just to say, you weren't a content creator, you're just an average Joe coming to hang out with friends. Would it entice you less to come to the Disneyland Resort knowing that there's not new stuff to enjoy, and you're paying higher prices for it, or what do you think for it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. That's a lot to digest. So we know Disney likes to throw everything in one basket and show everyone before anything gets started. And I get it, these shareholder meetings and these D23s, they need stuff to do. But when we pile up all this stuff like Avengers Campus and this and that and Coco and this and, Avatar, I mean, they just broke ground on the Avengers expansion this year. You know what I mean? Everything takes a while. We've been waiting on that Thanos e-ticket. So the thing with Avatar, right, is I'm a fan of Avatar, but I said this before on someone else's channel, maybe OG's, that a lot of people aren't getting Avatar tattoos. You know what I mean? People are getting Marvel tattoos. So now we're 3 movies in. Yeah, we're 3 movies into Avatar.
Yeah.
And now, is it Drew the Disney dude? Shout out Drew. Thank you for posting on this. He reflected that it's an early development. So does early development mean that they even have the whole dark ride structured out? Like,
it means they absolutely have nothing. For me, so every time that they say early development, not even just for this, it means like they're still in the blue sky phase. That's
right
interpretation.
Right. So,
and that's concerning to me.
That is concerning because, like, to me, it's like, so for instance, Avatar 3's out. Avatar 4, if James Cameron does it, won't be out for 4 years.
Yeah.
Are they trying to line this up with the Avatar 4 release? And then did this information drop from Drew the Disney dude because he found out, or did it really officially drop? Because why would they release this information around the release date of the movie? Because it basically tacks on some negative connotation to it, because everybody wants to go see this, but I don't see many content creators in Florida dropping Avatar reels or anything on Instagram, trying to promote this movie. I mean, is there anything going on at Walt Disney World, Animal Kingdom right now where, like,
no,
all
there's
the actors
nothing
are
going
there and
on.
stuff?
No, there's nothing going on like to actually like promote the movie.
Right.
Now, to answer your question about like, are they going to add 4 and 5 and what have you? Now, they said at D23 that they were going to incorporate all the Avatar movies. But even recently, James Cameron said that he wants to even do more projects outside of Avatar. And he said that if the studio doesn't greenlight for Avatar 4 and 5, he is okay with Fire and Ash.
I mean, yeah, you cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. That James Cameron's okay for Fire and Ash to be the final movie.
And so interesting for sure. So I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen some of James Cameron's interviews, and he was very, very salty at one of the interviewers. They asked him all these questions, and then they're like, all right, moving on to 4. And he's like, well, do you ever ask? He said, do you ask a pregnant woman crowning when she's having her next kid? This is what he said. Yeah. Very, very detailed, kind of vulgar type of comment. He's getting fickle when people are asking him. And it's just too much. Even Zoe Saldana saying it's too much.
Yeah, well, knowing how he is too, I think the more people that keep on asking, it's like, are you even enjoying my movies, or are you just waiting for one to drop so the next one can drop? So I think honestly, he could even decide to say, you know what? I'm just ending it with Fire and Ash. Like, we're done. Because Attractions Magazine even made an article saying after the movie dropped, this particular land is going to be based off of Way of Water and Fire and Ash. They didn't even mention anything about 4 and 5, even though that they said all the movies. And I think maybe that's why they used the term all the movies. Because if they would have specifically said at D23, this land is going to be based off of Way of Water, Fire and Ash, 4 and 5, then that would solidify James Cameron to make 4 and 5. They just said all the Avatar movies. So technically, all the Avatar movies could stop right at Fire and Ash.
Well, see, let me ask you this before we get on to our next, our one of our videos, is I heard somewhere online, again, I take everything I see online with a grain of salt, unless it's coming from Drew or, David from Fresh Baked, or a very high reliable source. I heard that Disneyland Paris, which is now getting a Venture World with Frozen, with eventually the Lion King. Supposedly, I heard they were supposed to get a Avatar land as well. And if that is the case, could that be based off 4 and 5?
I have a source that actually told me as well. And they had mentioned that there is there's like expansion pads over by like in between where like Lion King and Frozen is, for the potential that Pandora can go there. The only way that they would consider doing Pandora is depending on how well Fire and Ash does.
Yeah.
So far, it really doesn't have any mention of 4 or 5.
Well, I do have to say I saw a post today. I forgot who it was from, saying that Avatar Fire and Ash in the first 72 hours has made back 75% of their budget they spent for the movie. So when I'm hearing that within 72 hours, that tells me right there it's gonna do extremely well within the first week or 2 weeks.
I'm with you on that, Conductor. But see, the weird thing is Avatar has global fans. It's not so part of our nation. I mean, there's numbers, you could look up the numbers, but it's a lot of the worldly viewers. And also, if James Cameron moves on and we don't get 4 and 5, and Disneyland Paris and Disneyland and Anaheim are trying to do this, are people even going to care when this opens? I mean, Marvel, we got Thanos. People could wait for Thanos because Marvel's always going to be there. But people want this dead franchise if there's no content coming out.
Well,
4
even
years from now, bro. I mean,
even look at Marvel in a way. I even think people now, again, are people actually going to flock to this land when this stuff opens? Yes, because it's brand new. It's like that shiny new toy. But as far as like the IP goes, I don't even really know how people really are excited about this e-ticket attraction. I mean, because literally we've been waiting for over 6 years for just this one attraction. And again, they don't even really know what they were going to do with it. They had one concept art piece, then it went from that to something else. The ride vehicle keeps on changing, and the storyline keeps on changing. And I feel like this is the direction that even with Avatar is going forward with, because Cameron did say that if 4 and 5 does happen, they're going to be kind of separate storylines. As far as like the saga of the Sollies, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty much, even though that the characters are going to be in it, that the storyline is going to be completely different than from where it ended with Fire and Ash.
Oh, by far. So the last question I want to ask you, George, because again, you and OG were at the Honda Center when this was announced. And tomorrow at one point said all these projects are in current development. Dirt's moving, and they should be open in the next 5 years. Do you laugh at that, or is that more of an insult?
I laugh at it because it's an insult.
Okay, I figured
in a way because it's kind of playing with us of saying like Dirt is already being moved. Everything. I can seriously say now I can agree with him on a lot of other projects.
Sure.
Like obviously with Walt Disney World, I mean, they're moving rapidly with Encanto, with the Rivers of America area. I mean, they're moving, like Monsters Inc. at Hollywood Studios. But when it comes to a lot of the stuff for Disneyland, unfortunately, I can't say the same because, I mean, again, look how long it took for us to even start seeing construction on Avengers Campus. They still don't know what Avatar is going to be. I'm sorry. I could be wrong, but I'm very strong at what I stood by, like how many times that I've said before. They still don't know what they're going to do with this thing. This piece of concept art right here, this may not even be what it's going to look like in the end.
Well,
go ahead. My bad.
No, go.
Okay,
go
thanks. Let me just get this out real quick. So the thing with Disneyland and the Disneyland Resort is they do get stuff done in my eyes if it's not complete construction or demolition. So obviously, was it Tortilla Joe's or whatever? That sat up forever. I may be butchering the name. That's, whatever. But then, they restructured the ESPN building and Lululemon's open now. And then, when they did the Avengers and D-Lander store and Wonderful World of Sweets, all downtown Disney, they locked those in, but those things were already there. It's just like they refurbed it, right? Or they just rethemed it. Yeah. So it's hard for Disney to get like vertical. It seems like
it is. Well,
Yeah.
at least out here in Anaheim, like
Yeah.
George says, and we're gonna watch one of the videos from Capture the Magic where he covers the updates at Walt Disney World and the projects. And I even said this again, and I referenced this video I did with OG the other night, was the fact that you have Walt Disney World, their projects are moving so fast with Cars Land, Villains Land. You got the whole project in Animal Kingdom with Encanto. You have in Hollywood Studios, we have the Imagination Courtyard that's getting built, the new Monsters Inc. roller coaster, suspended roller coaster that's being built. It seems like a lot of that stuff on the East Coast is moving so much faster, and obviously all three of us are going to see it in March when we go out there. And my concerning factor is that, I think from what I understand, basically they're trying to get the Disneyland Resort to be a tourist destination. But my only problem with that, and here's where my issue comes in. How can you call the Disneyland Resort a tourist destination or even begin to start making it a tourist destination when the company, a multi-billion-dollar company, cannot even agree on what the closing date is for one attraction to make way for this Avatar now destination, which aka it's a land. They just refuse to say that. We can't even decide when one attraction's opening, or I mean closing. We can't even announce a date. Then this happens. Meanwhile, at Walt Disney World, hell, the Encanto attraction, and again, we'll watch that video. There's already walls going up for that attraction. They're moving so much faster, and I don't know why the Disneyland Resort kind of likes to drag their feet. It drives me nuts. Because then 50 miles away, you got Universal Studios Hollywood, who's been building a massive, intimate roller coaster on the side of a hill that literally, not even 50 yards away, you got actual active production for Hollywood happening. And yet they could build a roller coaster. They're updating their security with 3 new security hubs. We're seeing a refresh come to City Walk. Then there's other projects going to be happening, new experiences for the studio tour, theme park expansion. It's just like, how can you have your competitor doing all this on a movie lot, but yet you guys are not on a movie lot, and you've been around since 1955, and we can't even announce a closing date for one attraction.
I'll tell you why. Because Disney knows they have loyalists.
Yes.
No matter what, we're still going to go. We're still going to pay for it. So Disney's like, we don't have to really, justify why people, we can raise the money, or raise the prices, tenfold. And it's like, well, they'll still come. Universal, I feel like, is still part of that game, but they have something to prove. Like they need to do stuff to get people into their good graces. Now, the thing I will give Universal is they can make an announcement on something, but they could be very vague. And I'm okay with that, because even though that they're very vague on the description, they still do the construction like in a blink of an eye. they'll start it and they'll say, okay, now we'll make the announcement of what it is while we're building it.
Actually,
No,
that's funny you
100%.
said that, George, because like to me, it's like that UK Universal Park will be here before Villains Land. I know it won't be, but I mean, gosh, I feel like I'll be traveling to the UK for Universal before we even get anything cracking. I mean, it's just hard to figure out because we trust Universal because we know they follow their timeline.
Yeah.
Right. I'd probably be collecting my Social Security check before Villains Land.
Oh my gosh. Not to go off subject, but at work today, because we had inventory. Okay. I'm not gonna say this person's name, but they run a certain department in the warehouse, and they had to do inventory in the freezer where I was driving a forklift. And I kid you not, I was telling my coworker, because if anyone's been in the Costco, you guys have seen it. They're hard to miss. You got the freezers. Usually it's 2 freezers and a cooler, okay, right next to each other. So we were doing inventory, and I talked to my fellow driver who was driving the cooler, and I said, when in the hell is this person that runs this department going to finish counting? Because it literally, I told him, I'm like, I'm starting to see gray hair show up on my head. It's taking this long for them to count. It's ridiculous. So believe me, I get that comment. I 100%
before you move on, Conductor, can you just do me a favor? Can you bring up OG's comment about with DCA?
Yes. Let me see. This one?
Nope. Disney doesn't take DCA seriously.
Oh, got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so with this, I actually really, honestly, it is really true, I have to say. Because I feel like with the 2 parks, you know, that make up for the Disneyland Resort, it's Disney has this thing where with Disneyland Park, it's like it's the crown jewel, which it is. It's the OG park, you know, it's like Walt, you know, stepped foot on those grounds. He had everything to do with it. You know, he lived there, you know, so it's always going to have that special kind of, you know, impact, you know, with us theme park goers. But at the same time, okay, so like how the interviewer, like when James Cameron said about like having a baby. Okay, so you're going to have two children. You're going to have your firstborn, which was like, you know, you coddle it, you know, you make sure to keep it safe. And then you have the second one, and it's like, oh, well, we don't really care about, you could go do whatever you want. You know, we're not going to like put the time, effort, TLC into the second one. Then it's like, then why did you have a second child? So it's in the same way of why did Disney build DCA if they're going to mishandle it from the get? Because they did it from DCA 1.0. Like what even why can I not remember his name? He worked very close with Walt. I forget his name. I'm blanking right now, but he even said after he saw DCA when it opened, and I think one of the news stations asked him, so what do you think of it? And he said, honestly, I preferred it as the parking lot.
No, 100%. And Haunted Mermaid 13 had an interesting comment. She says, when I was told walk in DCA before it opened as a first-time cast member, and they mentioned it was called Plan B, I didn't think of it until now.
Plan B. Great.
Yeah,
that is so great. Well,
I love that comment.
Well, then you know what? We just unlocked the secret.
Exactly. And it wasn't even that hard. All it started with was with one letter, B. Unbelievable. So I'm going to play the first of 3 videos. At any point when I'm playing this, if you want me to pause it, just let me know. We could talk and go from there. So you just let me know. Okay.
Just a day after we called the beginning, it has begun. Walls up in downtown Disney in front of the ticket booths and Earl of Sandwich. Let's also check in on those trees and the future Coco site where we're hearing rumors where that's also about to get underway. This is the latest in construction news around the Disney Resort. This is fresh baked. Now, let's get out to Catella Avenue. Taking my now customary walk down Catella Avenue towards Disneyland Drive, just checking in on a few things. It looks like that tree trimming that was happening here on the perimeter next to Catella is over, complete. No trucks outside, no fallen trees, no leaves anywhere. So that appears to be done. Unrelated to what's happening at the corner of Catella and Disneyland Way, which we are arriving to now at this point. And we're just looking to see if anything has started, if any trees are coming down, if any changes in the ribbons, etc. There's a look through the gate. That building on the other side of that gate, that's the portable building that we're looking for them to be moving in the near future. We'll see that again from the Pixar Pal Around, and we'll take a walk through here and check out all these trees. I heard somebody say that these trees are worth thousands of dollars each. I just find that incredibly hard to believe, but yeah, man, these are very expensive apparently. And all of them are going to be removed. That's our best guess. All of these trees are going to be removed, and all of that landscape and everything to bring out, to expand the backstage area in order for them to grow that backstage area for Coco. We're lining up that paint there on the sidewalk with where the majority of the ribbons are. So I think that's confirming again my feeling that the ribbons indicate what kind of utility is near these trees. If these trees, when they get removed, are they near any kind of utility? That's electrical right there. That paint on the ground. And the green would be sewage typically. But we got a large array of trees here. These are marked green, and then back against the fence are marked red. There's also some green ones back there as well, and then some that are not marked at all. Those I would believe to be not near any kind of utility. But as we keep making this walk, we're going to be doing this walk every week until something happens or until they stop us. Because at some point I have to believe that we're not going to be able to do this, and we'll have to watch it from across the street, perhaps.
This credit card has an interest rate that's really, really low.
I love it.
How low? This low. The credit card that's in
on the other side of Disneyland Drive instead of getting right next to them, because if they're going to take all this stuff out, they're going to put fences up, etc. And they're actually going to probably close this path, I think, for a little while. I don't know permanently, but for a little while at least, for however long it takes them to, get this thing started. We're progressing toward the half of the hidden Mickey that you can see from above. If you look at it from Google Maps, we're not there yet, but I'm just checking all these various locations to see what we can see.
So in all reality, there's really there's like no movement. It's just a lot of spray paint, a lot of flags on trees, at least on this part. So that's when I go to you, George, and like I said earlier, when Damaro got on stage, whether he had a choice or not, and basically was forced to say, oh, all these projects are going to be done, including the ones at DCA in 5 years. Am I missing something? Or
see, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, OG and I did a video way back. And I don't know it might have been a video or it might have been a live, where we were trying to actually reconfirm how Damaro said it. Because he has this charm about him that he can grab our attention, and he could sneak little words in there and then we miss it. So we were trying to figure out if Damaro actually said it would be all done by 5 years, or it would take 5 years for all these projects to at least get started.
Sure.
So we kind of went back. We went through some videos of other people that were recording live at the event and what have you, and we were kind of going through the whole 3 hours worth of that presentation, but there was nothing that really confirmed nor denied that it said it would all be done in 5 years. He mentioned 5 years, but I don't know if it was actually going to be all completed. So technically, they can start Avatar on that last 5th year, but Damaro can turn around and say, you know what? I said within the 5 years. So it's starting in 5 years, but it may not be done for another 6 years.
Yeah.
So we may not see Avatar for another decade, like actually physically see it. Now, again, is that what it's going to be? I mean, if you really look at the progress and the timelines when they first did Avatar down in Animal Kingdom. Now, mind you, this is a full-fledged land. Now they're saying this is an experience or now a destination. So they made the announcement in 2011. They broke ground in, I'm trying to think if it was like 2013-ish. And 4 years later, it opened in May of 2017. So I don't know. So between 4, 5, 6. So that was a span of 6 years.
Sure.
From announcement to actually completion. I believe they started the construction 2 years or maybe a year and a half after the announcement. They made the announcement in 2023. We're now moving into 2026. It is now almost going into 3 years since they announced, and there has still not even been any piece of broken ground. It can't, because if they're going to stick it in Hollywood land, there's nothing closed. We still don't even know a definitive time of when Monsters Inc. is going to close. So again, we have all these questions, no answers. Disney's not responding to anything. And this is why with all the Avatar stuff, I'm not holding my breath on it. I'm not saying that it's not going to come, but as far as the timeline that they originally given us, I can't see it happening unless, and this is where Disney has us, it's not going to be a full-fledged land. And if that's the case, that's really going to worry me, because if they're just going to shoehorn it into this backlot area, then it really is just going to be an experience.
And absolutely my point. And when you see what happened in Animal Kingdom when they first announced it, people are all like, we don't want this here. Mythical creatures don't mix in with actual animals that Animal Kingdom's known for, and is based around.
Well, of course it doesn't. And see, it still ended up in divorce for me.
Exactly. That's what I mean. But in all reality, it's just people were hating on it so much, and then once it opened, people loved it. Now we're back. History repeats itself. People are saying we don't want it in DCA, but if they make it a huge land, then people will love it. If they shoehorn it like you're talking about, then it's going to get even more hate, and it's going to be horrible. So in all reality, the Animal Kingdom version land took about 6 years by the time they broke ground to the time they opened it. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, if you look at the Simba parking lot, which is already zoned for theme park space, thanks to Disneyland Forward being approved, 6 years from now, we're going to see projects starting to be built over there. Why not get a head start and start building Avatar over there? And you don't have to rip down buildings. All you have to do is rip up asphalt and start running conduit, and then you're golden. And by the time the 6-year mark happens, you're going to have another Skyway bridge from this ugly, backstage gate here going over Disneyland Drive to the Simba parking lot where Avatar is going to be at.
Can I ask you both a question? Tell me what you think. If they did the e-ticket for Avatar, this immersive boat ride, that's supposed to kind of have the same kind of, ride style as the Shanghai Pirates, if it's like really done well, would it bother you guys if it was just an Avatar experience or destination or mini land, or that wouldn't matter? Like, no matter how good the e-ticket attraction is, it was like an in-service to tell us that, Avatar's coming, but it's not a full-fledged land.
I could take a whole ride and not even worry about the land. My thing is if you're going to keep changing it. So first it was an experience, or first it was like a land, then experience, now it's a destination. what else have they coined a destination? Is this the first? I don't really need an Avatar land in DCA. I think I've said this before, but I want the ride. I'll take the ride, because the thing is Avatar is so unique. It's like almost perfect for DCA, because it's, for me, DCA's a bunch of little things because it never was once its own identity. I mean, I do like how you guys or OG said before, it could be Disney cinematic adventure, you know, or whatever eventually. For me, though, it's weird. It's people love to bag on Avatar. So that's why I feel like a lot of people are coming over to bag on the Avatar land as well. Like, there's just Avatar haters out there, which is all right. I mean, there's people that, you know, just don't like certain things. But to answer George's question, to me, I don't really need a full land in DCA. I mean, I know everybody wants that area to be Zootopia too, but I feel like once Disney drops a movie and it hits, people are like, oh, we could put that here. Like Lilo and Stitch is here. People are like, put that here, put that there. You know what I mean? I mean, like Fantastic Four, put that here, put that there. It's just Disney can never catch up to their movie releases, because once they drop info,
that's why they should not really go by what box office is doing for their IP. If an IP,
but Universal is.
Yeah, if an IP fits and it works, just use it because it fits well. If you make a great land or a great attraction, people don't care how much money it made at the box office. A lot of these theme park goers go on these rides that what made Avatar at Animal Kingdom so unique was the attractions and the land that Disney had built. Majority of those people that were there opening day, I can guarantee you haven't even seen the movie. There's people who probably still haven't seen not one Avatar movie that goes through that land. They don't need to worry about the box office and what have you. And honestly, and Tommy, you had mentioned about Zootopia. Jared Bush already hinted. He already started the sketches for Zootopia 3. Wow. And so, and he said that's the only thing you guys are going to get right now. It's like kind of like an early Christmas gift that he's working on the sketches right now for Zootopia 3. So, I mean, it's very interesting, you know. But yeah, Conductor, what do you think of that? Like, because you were just mentioning about like it being like, you know, from like an experience destination. They never called it a land. I don't think it's going to be a land, because they would have said a land. So the fact that they went from experience and destination, it's almost like Disney kind of telling us without telling us, without really saying, sorry guys, it's not a land. Are you okay with just a full-fledged like big e-ticket attraction and it just be a destination?
No. I personally, for me, I am not okay with that, because knowing what the potential is of the original version in Animal Kingdom, and the added benefit of us having a land is one thing that Animal Kingdom struggles most of the year, if not almost. I just to throw a guesstimate, 360 out of 365 days a year is not having the land enjoyed at night, where the bioluminescent lights come on, and it's a total different experience in that land at night compared to during the day, because that land is restricted by Animal Kingdom's policy because of the live animals that live in that park. So in all reality, I want it to be a land. The fact that it's a billion-dollar franchise, the first movie did very well. The second movie seems to be doing pretty well right off the gate. You know, possibly the third movie will do very well. I think it would be more of an insult to build one attraction and maybe a couple little quick service locations to kind of like what they're doing with Coco behind the Incredicoaster. I think it would be more of an insult to do it that way than build a land and have the same setup with the bioluminescent lights to come on at night. And I think people would absolutely love that. And that could be a great selling point for DCA, because DCA, we can all agree at this point, even other people I've talked to, DCA is like the stepchild of Disneyland. And even Walt Disney World, DCA is just like kind of out there in nowhere land. It's just, you know, it's gone better since the early 2000s when it opened, but it still struggles with attractions. It still struggles with many different areas. So I think having a full-fledged Avatar land would be crucial if they're going to build it at all. Because, like I said, I personally, for me, and I'm going to stick by this point, I think it should go into the Simba parking lot. They can already start construction in very, very, very early 2026. And you can leave the Hollywood backlot and turn it into Zootopia. Because if you think about it, the first movie, did the first movie do over $1 billion? George?
Yeah, Avatar went over $1 billion.
No. Zootopia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Zootopia did go over. Yeah, okay. Zootopia 1 and 2 went over $1 billion.
Okay, so Zootopia 1 and 2 went over $1 billion, and it kind of takes place in that metropolitan type IP of that franchise. At least the first one, a little bit of the second one. So the Hollywood backlot would be perfect. They wouldn't have to mess around with the monorail, and they would still have to do massive construction, but I think people would feel more comfortable having that in the Hollywood backlot than Avatar. The other reason why I bring that up is because when you walk down Hollywood Boulevard, imagine the deconstruction they're going to have to do to fit Avatar in the Hollywood backlot compared to putting a Zootopia land in there where they wouldn't have to touch the Hollywood Boulevard. And on top of that, it kind of ties into Zootopia. So why in the hell would you put Avatar based off mythical creatures and destroy half of Hollywood Boulevard, which Hollywood Boulevard kind of actually, you know, it's a parade route for DCA. So if you tear half of it up to fit Avatar, that's a problem. So I rather them put it in the Simba parking lot and leave Zootopia for the Hollywood backlot if that's what they want to do. And I'm okay with that, because again, they can start with Avatar literally in January or February, building it in the Simba parking lot. We're already seeing activity happen in the Toy Story parking lot. People are reporting that half of the parking lot is closed off. It's walled off. So if they could do that to Toy Story, why can't they do that to the Simba parking lot? That's my
question. That's well said. Well said, Conductor.
And honestly, I think honestly that the two big announcements that was made at D23 that, you know, no one really was knowing how it was going to go was obviously Avatar, you know, because, you know, we knew Avatar was coming, but it had to be confirmed into DCA. And then, of course, the Coco boat ride, because we all thought, Sean, God, now I'm just all flustered. That Coco was going to come to the Magic Kingdom for the what's beyond Big Thunder, you know. Yeah. But what was interesting was that Coco was coming into DCA as a boat ride. Now, I was hearing, you know, and this came from Drew the Disney Dude, that I believe that he heard from that Park Place. I think they had mentioned it, that with the Coco ride, and honestly, even from some people that I were talking to, that the building's not going to be really huge because it's going to be kind of squeezed into the back of the Incredicoaster. So what they're saying is with the technology is it's going to be like a rotation kind of thing with where you're in a boat.
Yeah.
And the scenes are going to move rather than you moving. So like it's almost like the carousel of progress, so to speak, on water, where the scenes will just keep on like rotating.
No, by far. No,
so,
but
that'd be actually that's pretty interesting. I mean,
yeah,
so I'd like to see that. Yeah,
as long as they keep the tech and everything like high quality, you know. But again, it's still all these questions that we need answers to.
No, well, George, real quick, I have a quick question for both you guys. It's literally just a quick action one. So, should we have known better that Avatar was still in its early stages for DCA when Disney dropped their 2026 calendar and Oogie Boogie is still going on at DCA? I mean, like, is that a good calculator for it? Like, come next year around this time, and they drop their 2027 calendar. If Oogie Boogie's still there, can we consider that they won't break ground yet, or it does that matter at all?
I don't think really it would, because if they're still going to be working on Coco, that would still hinder Oogie Boogie. I'm still very curious of what the all the finer details are going to be with Oogie Boogie, because are we still going to get a parade? Are they going to reroute the parade? Is it going to be something in a different format, or is it even still going to be in DCA? Just because they say Oogie Boogie,
sure.
I mean, they could possibly move Oogie Boogie temporarily over to Disneyland.
They could.
Okay. I'll take it.
So again, it can kind of go either way. But from what it's looking at as far as Avatar's point of view, not so much of Coco, I mean, it is another, you know, kind of like tally mark of saying, you know, it is going to be delayed.
Yeah. And two comments, one from Orange Grove's 55 and 7H John. Orange Grove 55 says, changing course to Zootopia now is just too reactive. Disney needs to stand by announcements and follow through. What if they start planning Zootopia and the next IP does better?
That's what I mean about trying to jump the gun, bro. Like,
right. See, I do agree with that. I do agree with that, because if Disney does change course very fast, then it makes them look incompetent. Then it's like every announcement that Disney makes, we're going to be looking at as the consumer and say, oh, well, they're making the announcement, but chances are it's going to turn into something else.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. And like you said, you can't base it on the IP, because Disney has all these lineups every year and only some hit. Like, for instance, we got Hoppers in March. We got Toy Story 5 in, June. Not to keep this on the movie route, but, Spider-Man, Avengers, Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu. They have stuff set up for this, but don't change or transition or start thinking of different stuff just because that IP hits. Like the Moana live action, I mean, we need Moana stuff. I know it's over on the East Coast, but maybe they'll put the Moana over in that new Saudi Arabian area, Abu Dhabi or whatever. It's just weird. Like, I like what OG's saying. Don't just go off of what the fans want movie-wise, because the lands are different, like you said, George. So I feel it.
See, I still think Zootopia should have gone into Hollywoodland. I will always say that. What Disney did wrong was they hurried up and they made the announcement that Avatar was going into Hollywoodland before they even know what the hell they were doing. So it's like, don't make the announcement if you still don't know, because once you solidify a location, we're going to take it to heart to say, okay, you told us Hollywoodland, so this is where it's going. Even though, I still have my own personal thoughts on, why they're putting it in Hollywoodland and not wait for the Simba lot. But that's why they should have at least said that if they were going to make something of an announcement about Avatar coming to the Disneyland Resort, if they would have said down the road, as part of Disneyland Forward, like further down the road. But I feel like, too, this is also a James Cameron kind of thing, because it's, so he's
getting older.
Yeah. And it's like, you have to kind of will and deal with that as well, because even though, Disney does own, a lot of like the 20th century and the Fox properties, Avatar is still his baby. So, I mean, to get Avatar, you have to go through him.
Absolutely. Well, it's something we're going to have to keep our eye on, and hopefully, when D23 happens this next upcoming year in August, we get more clarification on location, what it's going to look like, the time frame. And I would ask Disney not to sit there and do what they do best and announce, a budget for this, because I rather not know that until after the land's open. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm going to play a little bit more of this video and then go to Jared's videos from Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando. Again, gentlemen, at any point, if you want me to stop, just let me know and I will pause it and we'll discuss.
We're going to have to see it from across that street. Let's get into the second biggest story. Actually, I'm sorry, this is the biggest story of the week. We're in downtown Disney, looking at the former Earl of Sandwich, former La Brea Bakery, now future Portos. That building is going to be destroyed. They have last week, you recall, I said, looky here. When they take those stanchions down in front of these ticket booths, then they're about ready to get started. We said that months ago. When they take, as long as those stanchions are up, nothing's going to happen. When the stanchions come down, something's going to happen. And no sooner did we said that we filmed it on Friday, published the video on Monday.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, shout out Dave from Fresh Bake, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 days, that Monday, actually, the Monday that we published, I was there for State of Disneyland, and I found walls up, and they were beginning to close off this area. So it took just a couple days for them to get started. Now those walls have extended all the way to Earl of Sandwich. It's from Earl of Sandwich to the ticket booths. And that's covering a lot of space there. Just try to imagine, you guys, the reason why the walls are this big is because that's the entire space that's going to be consumed by this new Portos. Portos is going to be enormous.
This thing is going to be humongously humongous.
Right.
I know George is eyeballing a spot in the patio for his what are those new videos you like to do? Cocktail convos.
Cocktail convos, yeah.
I know you're eyeing a spot, and then Tommy, I can see your spot happening somewhere on the balcony on the second story or something.
Who cares about Avatar and new rides, man? Give me more restaurants.
Yeah,
but it's really funny. You say that, but it's really true. The Disneyland Resort needs more restaurants. I am like so sick and tired of going into 10 different locations. How many different ways can you make a burger? Like it's
Galactic Grill burger, then this burger, then that
Johnny
one.
Peter says, "Give me Portos."
Yeah, I want that Cuban sandwich ASAP. Giant Peter, what's up?
Oh my gosh! Oh,
hey, what's up? Yeah, that's how we do it in the cut.
Oh, absolutely. No, this is gonna be a massive Portos. I mean, humongous. And I mentioned it to OG, and I want to get your guys' take real quick before we jump to another section of this video showing other parts of downtown Disney. Do you guys agree? Because we have one in Burbank, we have one in Anaheim, and we have one in Corona. So this is going to be the fourth location. Do you think Portos and Disney will collab together to have a menu that's only exclusive, like a good chunk of it, only exclusive at this location, where it entices people that maybe live in Burbank, maybe live in Anaheim or Corona?
I think they said it was going to be specifically like Disney-fied items too, like on the menu.
Yeah, I can see what George said. I can see there's probably going to be exclusives just for Disney. Like right now, Krispy Kreme and Times Square, New York, has a donut that's like $13 or $19 that's shaped like an apple, like the Big Apple. Only could get it at that Krispy Kreme in New York in Times Square. So like I feel like Disney will do something exclusive for the Portos, because Portos is going to be like the Starbucks, bro. Like, it's just going to be flooded, just nonstop.
Oh, by far. No, I really honestly hope so. You know what? Yeah, I hope so, quite frankly, because it needs to happen. I'm sorry, but if they're gonna have the exact same menu that any of the other 3 Portos locations has, it doesn't seem like it would entice people to go there. Because first, right off the bat, if you're not a Magic Key holder, boom, $40 off the bat to park. Then you have to go to this location, and you're going to spend another probably minimum $50 to $100. So right there, you're already in the hole.
Well,
over $100.
We don't know if they'll validate parking yet, right?
Hopefully
for that one.
I would honestly hope they will validate. So I hope they do. But
this is going to be a madhouse on opening day, because not only are you going to get the traffic from people that were going to Disney anyway, but you're also just going to get those diehard Porto fans that are just going to be flooding in. And it's like, so I think Disney is already being smart and knowing like how big this facility has to be to accommodate all the people that are going to be coming for this.
Okay, so Wizard says something, and shout out to Theme Park Wizard. He says, "Oh, they'll be there." LOL. 17.5 million people go to Disneyland every year. People are going to the park for the day. We'll be going to Portos. Trust me. So I'm going to say this: Wizard just initiated himself, and I'm going to initiate him, even though he can't speak for himself. Me, George, him, and Tommy, if you're available, we're going to be sitting at the security gates at 4 a.m. and dashing the Portos on grand opening. We're doing it.
Man. Shout out Wizard, man. Miss you too, bro. Man, I won't even be at Fast and the Furious grand opening at Universal, man. I'd rather go to the Portos, bro.
Honestly, I want honestly, for the amount of people that's going to be there, that's probably going to be like my moment to like crowd surf, and like people could just lift me up and like, you get a roll and you get a roll and you get a roll.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Oh my gosh. Wizard's trying to fight me on it. He's not going to fight me. He's coming.
I'll find you something you'll like on the menu, bro.
Yeah. We will buy you some, Wizard, so you better drink energy drinks. You're coming down here. No questions asked. It's happening.
Downtown Disney next. That's the backside of Earl of Sandwich. We have, now that we're making this walk down Disneyland Drive, we're able to see different angles that I didn't go and get previously. So this is the backside of Earl's, and there was a lot of whooping and hollering going on back there. There was a lot of activity, and this was quite early. This was 9 a.m. So they were really busy at work here, working on the upper portions of that building. And it needs to get moving quickly, because I feel like they want to have this thing open sooner rather than later. That's for sure. There's once we pass through security, there's that side that we often get from Earl of Sandwich. Nothing happening here other than the sound. But no action. I couldn't really hear any action towards the front side of the site, nor could I see any, even shadows, working on that front side. I think they're all working at the top. There's hey, look, it's officially now. Can we stop calling it the ESPN Zone? Can we call it the Lululemon building now? Is Lululemon going out of business? People keep saying that. I feel like that's an odd thing to happen, going out of business while opening a new location. So the signage is up. We saw, we got images of this from the street team last week regarding this.
And just real quick, this video is about a week and a half, 2 weeks old. So Lululemon at the former ESPN Zone building is now open. So just for everybody watching.
And it looks like now the sign is up. We can get video. And we also have this image from the street team. That's lights on inside the building. So yeah, you can see that the flooring is finished. The flooring is complete. They've got some of the, infrastructure. They're installing the shelving and all the table elements where they're going to put, displays and things like that. So they do appear to be pretty close. I think we're probably just a couple weeks away, maybe. It's going to take about that long just to finish installing all the cabinetry and shelvings and all that stuff, get the merchandise in there, and then train staff, do a soft opening, making a lot of progress. Finally, it looks like the shield and green flame from the Maleficent Dragon have been restored. We were talking about how this was missing last week. The green flame was, and I think his shield was as well. That is back, so they're nearing finish, and you can see some crew there wrapping up that work on the scenery behind that space.
I bet 99% of people paid more. Right now, Autofil M6 gaming chairs are up to 35% off. If it's still in your cart, don't wait. Once it's gone.
No action.
Wait, what was that?
Well, no, he said you definitely pay more, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course we do. We all go to Disney, so of course we pay more.
Well, that's after we take a bank loan.
Yeah,
remember that one. And then does it kind of irritate you that they tore down Tortilla Joe's and they've done nothing with it? Don't you think they shouldn't have just left Tortilla Joe's and left it open until they were actually ready to tear it down and build?
I would have thought, I mean, it's more business. I mean, it's still more profitability. I don't know. Again, unless Disney does like these fast knee-jerk decisions thinking that they have it all together, and then they realize, oh crap, we don't. And it's like, well, it's too late. It's already taken down. So I think that's like for Tortilla Joe's. I think that's what happened there.
No,
I love Tortilla Joe's. Dude, I did a video there like the last month it was up. And let me tell you, it was packed. Like it was like, I had to wait. Yeah, I had to wait 15 minutes extra on top for my reservation. I was like, how is this place leaving? But they opened up all Chef Carlos Gaton's Mexican restaurants. So I see where they were trying to work. They were trying to shift to him. But, I am excited for that. I had to look up the name. Sorry, I butchered it. I don't live down there yet, everybody. So the Arthur and Son Steakhouse, that's going to replace that. Dude, they're saying early 26. I don't see it. I don't know. But I'm going to eat there for sure.
No, 100%. I'm definitely going to eat there. And I had a comment earlier. This is again from Theme Park Wizard, and I call him the GOAT of permit when it comes to theme parks because he's on top of it. He said there's a permitting issue for that new restaurant. I'm assuming he's meaning both restaurants because also a barbecue joint is going in that location as well. But it kind of seems very interesting to me that Porto's also ran into the same problem with the permitting issue, and even the third iteration of Earl's Sandwich and this new Gordon Ramsay restaurant that's going to be sharing the same building is also going through permitting issues.
Well, Wizard's saying so this one isn't Disney's fault, just Anaheim taking a while.
Okay. No, well, I understand that. So again, it's out of Disney's.
So was it still Disney's decision to take down Tortilla Joe's?
Yes.
Before Anaheim made that decision. Yes. See, that's where, if that's the case, still, I think Disney should wait until they know exactly like when they can get the green light from something.
Yeah.
Right.
To still make profitability on something.
Well, absolutely. And again, permits, and I'm not a construction guy by any means necessary, but they could get a mass amount of the permits approved, like you said, George, before they tear down something like Tortilla Joe's and keep them making money, even if it's not what they want to make, but it's still revenue coming in until those permits are approved. Then close it, tear it down, and start building. But
like I said, I think they wanted to shift to Tiendita and Paseo and Centrico. Sure. I feel like that was their Mexican food shift. Like they needed to do that, and maybe that was part of the Tortilla Joe thing. Like maybe Demolition didn't come late. I'm guessing. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah, no. And Peter Venture says he didn't really care for Tortilla Joe's. There were some menu items I didn't really care for either, but a mass majority of the food items were pretty decent, I had to say. by far. And Wizard says they gotta submit it one at a time, demo, then foundation, then new construction. Again, that's why I'm not a construction guy. And then he also says, so the delay would have came no matter what. Something in the permit they submitted, they messed up. So again, that couldn't have been Disney's fault. They didn't clarify, which he said they didn't clarify. So again, it's very unfortunate. Again, I think I'm biased in a way because when I look at Universal in Hollywood, or I look at Universal as a company, or I even look at Walt Disney World, and they file permits, it's like spot on, snap of the finger, like Thanos, and it freaking, moves heaven and earth to get it done. So it's like out here, it's like you're watching like snails trying to go across the road, and it takes literally forever for them to cross the road. That's what I feel like is going on here at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim. I'm just
shout out Chris West. My fault, interrupt.
Ooh,
I got that Knott's Merry Farm.
I like that
season pass holder ornament. I know. I joined too late, so I missed the reservation or whatever.
Yeah, he so cool.
I just thought of you, Conductor, because you're the train man. You know what I mean? So like,
oh yeah,
conducting the Knott's train.
Oh, that would have been perfect. No, that thing's awesome. Sick. I love that thing.
They even like have the Knott's like roller coasters on it. It's pretty sick.
Oh man, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, look at that lineup. Fuck, I'm not balding that much anymore, huh?
Nope. Wizard. Exactly. Wizard says, to be honest, at Universal Studios Hollywood, Fast and Furious was delayed 6 months because of rain and foundation. Well, okay. To be fair to Wizard's point, okay, building anything that ginormous on the side of a hill, you're going to have problems. And then Mother Nature, you can't fight Mother Nature. So I'm not going to sit there and dignify that with an argument. You can't. There's going to be issues no matter what. But when you tear down a restaurant and then let it sit vacant, and then you file permits and then you misword it, and we all know when anyone that lives in Southern California, when you file a permit with the city to do any type of construction or updates to your home, the city literally takes forever. And I mean forever to get back to you, or the county, or whoever it is. So they don't have a rapid response department. It's like snail pace with them. So when you're Disney and you misword something, oh my God, that just delays it even more. So I don't know. I don't know. But again, hopefully in early 2026 we could see rapid construction, because God knows I want to try that steakhouse with Tommy. Because I tell you what, me and him did the Great Maple at Pixar Place, and I'm telling you right now, that was one of the best experiences I've had at a restaurant at a Disney hotel ever. Now,
dude, 5 months later, bro, I'm gonna drop that video soon, man. I'm waiting. I haven't edited it yet, man. That's like 5 months ago.
now the mention though, I have no idea what George has in tail for me and Tommy at Walt Disney World. So I can't say too much yet until I get back and we do about 150 videos, because that's how long it's going to take to cover all that. But I can't wait for that. But without further ado, gentlemen, again, same rules apply. I'm going to play the video at any point. If you want me to stop, let me know.
Let's do it.
What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic, and welcome to the latest Walt Disney World construction update. And if you're perhaps unaware, there is going to be a lot of construction going on at Walt Disney World for the foreseeable future, with the development of new lands like the Monsters, Inc. land and the revamped animation experience coming to Hollywood Studios, the Tropical Americas featuring Encanto and Indiana Jones in the Animal Kingdom, and Piston Peak National Park featuring Cars in Frontierland at the Magic Kingdom. And it's been about a month since we've checked in on the progress here at Disney World. So we're going to go see how much progress has been made since the last update. And first, we will head over to Hollywood Studios to check out the progress in this park. We can see here in the animation courtyard of Disney's Hollywood Studios, we can see the current progress of the construction in this area. And I think many people thought the walkways would stay and that the former Star Wars launch bay building would be getting the biggest updates and the most attention. But we can see here that the entire area is getting a facelift as well as the walkways. We can also see in a couple of these views where the former Hollywood Studios archway was just a month or so ago. That is now gone and going to change the way this whole area looks once it is completed. And currently, there's really not much else to note in this area. So we're going to jump over to the other end of Hollywood Studios, where we can see there has been some pretty good progress over here at the future home of the Monsters, Inc. land. And here we can see the floor for the Gravity building for the Doors-themed roller coaster that will be coming to this land. Now, this area does look odd considering the construction is taking place in the parking lot here, but this area will be connected to the in-park area as construction goes on. And here we can see the foundation work that is happening as an auger drills holes, which are then filled with concrete that are working on the foundations for this ride. And here we can see more concrete will be poured for the foundation for the ride here that will likely be completed by the next construction update. And here are some good overviews of the entire work area that is taking place for the Doors coaster at this time. Now, over at the former Muppets Courtyard, which will again become Monstropolis, we can see the current status of what this area does look like. The walkways are all just now dirt, and we can see the Pizza Rizzo sign currently still stands. And here's a wider view of the entire work area. And at the bottom of the picture, this is where guests will be able to get to the Doors coaster that is currently being built in the parking lot here at Hollywood Studios. And again, will be connected to the entire land later. And at the former Muppet Vision 3D Theater, we can see that all the signage has been removed from the building. And we can see some weathering and stains that remain in its place. And this will be repurposed for a new theater show that will be coming to the Monsters, Inc. land here. And jumping over to Toy Story Land in Galaxy's Edge, we can see the new Toy Story popcorn and snack stand looks to be just about complete and probably will open very soon. And also near the popcorn stand in Toy Story Land, we can see there is new construction going on in Galaxy's Edge for what looks to be a seating area, and it also could be a place for stroller parking as well. Well, that's really all there is to check out in Hollywood Studios. Let's jump over to Animal Kingdom and check out the progress that is going on for the Tropical Americas land that is being built here. And in this view of the Encanto area, we can see that there is quite a bit of activity going on here, as well as a large crane has shown up on the site as well. And here we can see the current progress on what will be the Encanto ride building. Still lots of foundational work going on, but there is more concrete that has been poured since our last update, and there is some vertical construction that has happened since our last update as well. And we can also see in this view where...
Sure.
All right, so when we go, there's going to be a lot going on.
There is.
So Encanto looks pretty epic. I mean, what they've showed us, you know, like the concept art. Are you guys going to go back out there when that opens?
George, I'm gonna let you take it away on that one. Go ahead.
Yeah, Conductor and I were actually talking about that with the extensive amount of stuff that's going to be opening different times at Walt Disney World. So, we are definitely very highly considering, not even just for Tropical Americas, but for Monsters, Inc., for Cars, for Villains. We're already like in the beginning process phase of talking about getting Walt Disney World annual passes because of it.
Right.
Yeah. So we will definitely be going out there and possibly around our cruise time too. I'm trying to kind of get it to where our cruise can kind of land where Tropical Americas will open, so we can kind of kill two birds with one stone with that.
That's crazy. Disney cruise too. Damn.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. because it'll be also my first Disney cruise. I've never been on a Disney cruise. I've been on cruises, just not a Disney one. So that's going to be highly interesting because I watched the video last night on the cruise that George wants to go on, the Disney Treasure. And I started seeing all these different areas of the cruise ship. I'm like, oh God, George is going to get in trouble in here and here and here and there. I'm like, oh Lord. So it's going to be nuts. Oh my gosh. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, just by the screenshot of this where I paused it, just so much happening just around the resort. That's what I'm talking about. Just Walt Disney World.
Well, and this is even just currently now. When we go in March, things are even going to be even more progressed. And I actually spoke with a cast member from Walt Disney World, and she actually told me not even just Tropical Americas, not just Encanto, but all the projects that are going around the resort. She said they're actually ahead of schedule because they've been having really good weather, so they're taking advantage of it.
Oh, might as well.
Wow. Yeah. That makes sense. And then I feel like Florida, I don't know, it may be easier to get their permits done and stuff since it's like a vacation state. But talk about stuff being refurbed and everything. Shout out Chris West. I mean, he sent me something yesterday. I know Conductor was mentioning it off the live, but that they're going to repaint Cinderella's castle in January and start that at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. And then they're going to drain the moat out, and then it says, but by noon each day they'll lower the cranes. So
I was worried about that because I thought that's just going to be my luck. I take you guys to Walt Disney World for the first time. Right. You make that bank, and I want you to see Cinderella Castle for the first time, and you just see a world of scrims everywhere. So
it's right. Well, what's even better to do an update while we're out there? I mean, that's what we do. So, like, to me, that's worth it.
But the fact that they lower the crane so you could still get that good picture moment. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Tommy. I mean, like the fact that we can cover like how far progressed that they are in the paint, So absolutely.
Well, Tommy had a great point. We could do a short and even a long form video out of it. So that would be amazing. And then it's just our luck they're doing that. Then we have Rock and Roller Coaster closing on March 1st, so 3 days before we go on our trip out there. Then we have.
I was pissed off at that one.
And then what was another one? Because let me ask you, because I'm in this conversation. You are the Walt Disney World expert here. Out of this conversation right here.
Yeah,
because they said for Thunder Mountain, it's supposed to open in spring.
They said
do you think it's going to be open before March, or you think that's kind of
that worried me when it said spring? I'm hoping like that, even though that they say spring, but they could start doing like early previews, and the fact that the cast member said that they're already ahead of schedule with things. I'm hoping that when they say early spring, I'm talking like the first week of March. But what actually ends up saving us is, we're doing Walt Disney World on the second half of the script. And then we could even, and that's where and this is what I was mentioning too when I was talking to you guys on the phone, maneuvering park days, you still keep the schedule as is, but like depict of what park to do on what day. I was thinking of doing Magic Kingdom on that very last day, so that way it kind of gives us that stretch.
Oh, sure.
It gives us an opportune time that if Big Thunder is to open during that time, we have that opportunity. Now, if we know what date it's going to open, and it's like the second park day, we're going to Magic Kingdom the second park day.
Oh yeah,
we're going to be there for the opening of it.
100%.
It's like we have to cover this stuff. Like kids can wait till we're done. Like it's
yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's full steam ahead with Tommy Toon World, George the Disney Italiano, and Theme Park Conductor. What a trio right there!
Literally, because I will literally turn to a kid and I'll say, did you pay to come in here? Like, did you literally pull out your Spider-Man wallet and pay for your trip? It was like, no, we did. We have first priority. You know, sit down, enjoy your milkshake, and you can go on it later. We're busy.
I've been with George to the parks, everybody. Chat. He doesn't do that in real life.
So
that is my Disney Italiano sarcasm.
Here we go. Look at here, right here. George versus kids again. Oh, I love that.
But it's actually ironic that I do make jokes about kids, because little does like people know that I actually love kids. One of my first jobs was working in the public school system. So I enjoy, dealing with kids. So that's why I use kids as my shtick, because I do enjoy working with them and everything, that I just love tormenting them. So it's like,
oh God, here. See what the meme you started? Rudio says the same kid with the milkshake is going to get the last laugh by taking his D23 ticket.
I could see that. And then knowing how kids today, like, their parents would be the ones that get like the front row seats. And then the kid would probably come up to me holding his milkshake and say, "Who's laughing now, bitch?"
Dang. I figured you'd say something like that on the cruise.
Yeah.
Get out of my way. Oh my God.
But in any case, kind of getting on back to the Big Thunder. So we'll finagle the times, like, as I said, if Big Thunder opens on our second park day, that's what we do. As I said, if not, and they're still kind of doing like a possible soft opening, then we'll save Magic Kingdom for the very last.
Absolutely.
Some of the areas of the show building here do have some vertical construction and progress being made in that area. And in this view, we can see what is likely the back of the show building for the Encanto ride. There's lots of pipe work going on and initial groundwork happening here before more concrete is eventually poured to cover up this area. And here's a good look at the construction and all that is going on near the guest walkways in Animal Kingdom. Also, this is the site work area for what will be the carousel that is also coming to the Tropical Americas. And to give you an idea of what you're looking at, where the carousel will be constructed is the former home of the Boneyard Play area that stood in Dinoland USA. And we can still see some remnants of Dinoland USA, as some of the former buildings here are still standing and will be repurposed for Tropical Americas, but they have not had much work done to them since demolition of this land and construction on Tropical Americas has begun. And in fact, we can even see in the concept art what these buildings will look like eventually when this land is completed, as again, they are going to be repurposed for the Tropical Americas. We can see in this shot, Restaurantosaurus still stands, but not for much longer, as this entire area is kind of being closed down in sections, as the dinosaur attraction is going to become the Indiana Jones ride, and Restaurantosaurus is going to eventually become another type of dining establishment for the Tropical Americas.
Really quick,
so there has been some decent progress since our last update. Some things have gone vertical.
I will say, out of all the concept arts that Disney has released for all the projects moving forward, I feel like Tropical Americas is the most
legit, right?
Legit, accurate. Yeah. Like, I feel like of how the construction is moving with these aerial shots, it's starting to take shape of like what the concept art looks like. That's how it's actually going to be.
By far
completed. Yeah.
Well, it's still early and it's Disney, but if you had to pick out of all the projects happening at Walt Disney World, George, since it's your phrase, I'm going to let you decide this one. Since you repeatedly say, do not get married to concept art out of all the Walt Disney World projects, do you think you're less worried about Tropical Americas not matching the concept art?
I am less worried of Tropical Americas. I am scared to death of villains.
Me too.
100%.
Yeah.
Because we kind of had the same thought process when they're building Dark Universe, and the only bad thing about Dark Universe, from what I've heard, and George, you're you're the expert in this live stream. It's tiny. That's the only thing.
It is very small. It is the smallest land thus far in Epic Universe. It's very well put together. Sure. Like details of it are very. It's great. I just wish that there was more of it to enjoy. Like it just feels like it's very like cramped. But I can understand why Universal did that, because the IP that's surrounding it, I feel like in today's demographics, a lot of people don't really focus on the classic Universal monsters, which again is sad, especially since that's like really what got Universal up and running as a movie studio. Because you could look at the wait times, and unfortunately, the Monsters Unchained attraction really never surpasses 15, 20-minute waits. No. Which
good, because I want to go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's good. That's good for us. But like looking at like the demographic of popularity, it's really not there as far as like amongst like normies. So I feel like Universal did go the right route to not make it a full big land, but that could change in time, because there's still the talk of the Creature of the Black Lagoon attraction that could still possibly be added. So
absolutely.
Right. And then like I feel like you want to go to Darkmoor or the Monsters Land 2 times a day, because you want to see it at nighttime too, kind of.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
I can.
And you guys have to see the actual queue. It's just like going into Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Disneyland's version, not the generic diluted light one down in Florida. But you have to see the queue of Monsters Unchained, because it is very impressive.
I cannot wait.
In this area, and we'll check in future updates, as Disney has stated they would like the Tropical Americas to be open sometime in 2027. So we'll be sure to check in and see if that timeline ends up holding up, or if this area does end up having a longer construction period than they have initially wanted here. Well, that's about it over here in Animal Kingdom. So let's jump
really quick. I'm going to make a bold prediction. If the weather, I think in this case, the weather has to be on Disney's side in order for my prediction to work. If the weather sustains well and they say 2027 and they're already ahead of schedule, I can possibly maybe see an early 2027.
Which would not be bad, because again, me and George are still working it out, but we were looking at going down there in May, and if they open it in early 2027, it's still brand new, and it's still that shiny toy that George mentioned about a new land coming to any theme park. But it gives the park and the lands and the attractions time to work out some of the kinks they might have, because any brand new attraction is going to have kinks. I don't care what attraction it is, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be such a bad idea. So I could see that timeline easily. Oh, okay.
We're into the Magic Kingdom to check out the progress in the former Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island that will soon become the Piston Peak National Park, that is themed after cars. And we can see here in these shots that the Rivers of America are just a distant memory, as the buildings and remnants of the rivers have been demolished, as all the buildings in this area are completely gone. We can also see Villains Land in the large cleared area from the center of the photo to the bottom here. And looking a little closer, we can see that sand is being placed in the foreground that used to be a forested area of this part of the park. And if you're wondering what Tom Sawyer Island currently looks like, this is a great shot of that, as everything that was there before is no longer there, but you can still see the outlines of what was once the Rivers of America. Now, at the same time that the Piston Peak National Park is being constructed, there is initial groundwork happening.
I just have to post this comment real quick that Haunted Mermaid said, kind of tying in what OG was saying about Zootopia. Get this, with a new Toy Story film coming, watch Disney psych us all out and post a Toy Story land instead of Avatar.
Well, see, this is what I mean, is that they jump too much to what movie's popping at the time, but let's stick to the script a little bit. You know,
I mean, and here's the thing: if they do Toy Story, I'll say this. I'll try to say this nicely. Disney has not had the best track record when it comes to Toy Story lands.
No.
Like they're more, they're not as well fleshed out themed, which is sad, really, because I feel like they could do really well with Toy Story lands, but I mean, like they just hit them. They miss the mark with those every time.
Oh, by far. So hopefully they don't. You know what? I'm curious to see what the Toy Story land looks like at Walt Disney World, but I would never want that at DCA. The thing is that at DCA and the Disneyland Resort, we're landlocked. So everything they build has to at least last 10 years. Because if it can't last 10 years, that's a massive, massive, massive problem. So I don't want that. The hell with that. They can keep that on the East Coast. Don't bring that crap over here.
Don't get Conductor all riled up over here.
No, I know. I'm going to go on another rant.
Happening on the Villains Land portion of this, and here we can see the current progress of what will eventually become Villains Land. But this land, I do believe, will end up opening much later than the other areas of Disney World that are currently under construction. And since our last update, I wouldn't say there's much in terms of actual construction that has been accomplished, but all the demolition in this area has been completed. As in our previous update, they were still demolishing buildings and structures that were left over since the rivers and Tom Sawyer Island had closed down. So very soon we should start seeing all the rivers be filled up with dirt and more progress on foundations and other elements that are going to be built for the Piston Peak National Park.
Did you know that on most credit card statements, there's a warning that tells you how long you'll pay if you own?
And checking in on some of the other projects happening on Walt Disney World property, here we can see the work on and around the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian is making some progress. And here we can see in the entrance to the Polynesian that work is nearing completion and hopefully should be done very soon. And also near the Grand Floridian and the Polynesian, the roundabout in the new routing of the Floridian Way is getting close to being completed, but I have to say my OCD is kind of annoyed at this, as this circle in the center of this roundabout is lopsided.
Why?
But as you can see here, the road work in this area is very close to being completed and probably open here. And over near Fort Wilderness, there is some more construction going on. As we can see, a new pool is being built over here at Fort Wilderness, and we can see the progress on that right here. But the bigger project going on near Fort Wilderness is the Lakeshore Lodge DVC Hotel. And we can see here that this is being built right across from the abandoned Discovery Island, which guests actually used to be able to access via a boat back in the day, and is basically just set vacant and abandoned ever since it closed down in 1999. We can also see along with the hotel, there are DVC villas being built along the shoreline here, very reminiscent of the Polynesian, and even over in Wilderness Lodge, as they have some villas very similar to this type of setup. And here's the current status of what will be the hotel lobby and entrance for the Lakeshore Lodge Hotel. We can also see in the pool area the progress here, but also it will feature a lazy river in the pool and recreation area. And in another section, there will be another pool, and we can see the status of that, as well as work that is going on to construct a dock in this area also. So there actually has been quite a bit of progress on the Lakeshore Lodge construction over the past few months, but this hotel is slated to open sometime in 2027. All right, well, that's going to do it for this Disney World construction.
I'm telling you right now, Rubio's on one, and he's coming after George for some reason. Hey, you're muted.
Yeah, he's coming with the thing
straight for you.
That just became like my new thing now. It's like anytime like something happens, it was probably the kid with the milkshake's parents just to spite me.
Oh, I love that. And then I think who was it? It was, oh my gosh, Giant Peters. He was saying something in the chat. I don't know if I read it correctly. He's like, watch out for George and that slippery mind of his. And what I mean by that is the whole festival holiday straw action.
I think he was mentioning down in Florida, like lady in the tramping it or something.
Yeah,
like
I'm not lady in the tramping nothing with you. Hell no. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe if I'm tired. Maybe if I'm tired. And I'll have a mindset or some nonsense. Maybe.
Oh God.
You're telling me, oh God, I have to live with that.
It is forever ingrained on social media.
Yeah. Imprinted on my mind forever is more like it. Social media could be deleted. My mind can't, unless I get electroshock therapy. Even then, that might not even help. Oh God. We got one more video before we're gonna end tonight. This is also from Capture the Magic from Jared. These are current updates at Universal Orlando. I definitely encourage everybody in the chat to go check out Capture the Magic on YouTube. I guess this is a new series he's doing between Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando construction updates. I love how he did this working alongside Bio Reconstruct. So shout out to Jared for creating these videos and letting all of us enjoy and react to them.
What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic, and welcome to the latest Universal Studios construction update. And to say that Universal has been busy, even after opening Epic Universe back in May, would be quite an understatement, as there's current projects going on at Universal Studios and soon-to-be projects starting in the Islands of Adventure and also an expansion to Epic Universe, as well as Volcano Bay as well. So to kick off this construction update, we are going to start things off over at Universal Studios at the former home of the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster to check in on the construction of the new roller coaster that is coming to this area. Now, Universal has not said what the IP for this new coaster is going to be. All we do know is that it is going to be an Intamin roller coaster who Universal really does like working with, and construction actually started on this ride even while Rip Ride Rocket was being demolished. And behind the Music Plaza stage, we can see that the ground prep work is still going on after the demolition of the former Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster here. And we can also see some interesting excavations here, as well as some of the elements from Rip Ride Rocket's footers are being preserved and will be used for the future coaster that is being built here. And this is a great view of a recently poured foundation element for the replacement coaster. And we can also see rebar set up for some footers that will be poured here in the near future. And we can also see some rebar set up for where footers will be poured with concrete. And in another view of this same area, we can see more of the sheet foundations and footers are in development for the new coaster construction. And in this expanded footprint of the new coaster, we can see that the area where it has eaten into part of City Walk, as well as some foundation and footer elements, are being built right next to the Hard Rock Cafe. And this is a great view of the coaster construction and the updated walkway for guests in the City Walk area that was recently finished and open to guests. And one of the main changes in this area was previously there were stairs on this path, but now there is a gentle slope here, making it more accessible to more guests here. And this is what that new walkway looks like on the ground level that guests can see. And in another view of the construction, we can see at the arrow where the green slime themed pavement that does still remain from the former Nickelodeon Studios that used to be at Universal Studios. And for the new coaster replacing Rip Ride Rocket, the main entrance of this new attraction is going to be further down in the New York section of the park. And here we can see the current status of the construction of the coaster station and the service building that are going to be built right here.
So I want to ask George first, and then I'll get Tommy's opinion. The fact that it's possible that the ride entrance is going to be on the New York section, does that not kind of hint at possibly it not being Fast and Furious and possibly Ghostbusters that kind of takes place in New York, or am I just overreaching here?
I mean, they haven't really confirmed nor denied that it wasn't going to be Ghostbusters. I'm still giving hope that it could be. I think it would work really well because if they are having the entrance in the New York area, it just fits the theme. And obviously, I would want Ghostbusters over Fast and Furious,
Same,
just because of the fact of we're getting Fast and the Furious over here, and really confirming to what Universal said at the LA Comic-Con, it really has nothing even to do with Fast and the Furious. This coaster that we're getting out here in Hollywood is just to represent the stuntmen and women in the industry, and they're just kind of tying Fast and the Furious to it. So there's really no like logistical theme to it. So for them to now, neither did Rip Ride Rocket, to be honest. So I mean, if they wanted to just replace a coaster with a coaster, that's fine. But I mean, it would be less exciting for me if it was Fast and Furious, just because we're already getting that over here. I would want it to be Ghostbusters, just my personal opinion. The only way that I could see Universal still doing it as titled Fast and Furious is strategically, so they then can get rid of that god-awful Supercharged and use that area for an immersive e-ticket attraction.
absolutely. Tommy, what do you think?
I mean, I would love it to be Ghostbusters. We need something along the lines of Ghostbusters that's permanent, especially when we go there for like HHN and stuff. The thing with Fast and Furious is what George was saying with Fast and Furious, how out here it may not be really connected, it's loosely based. I hope that's not just them saying that because we may not even get Fast X Part 2. They really need to put that movie out. I don't mean to keep wrapping it up with the IPs and movies and stuff, but I always feel like those go hand in hand,
They do.
Right. Man, that Rip Ride Rocket got demolished real quick. I mean, compared to, Universal they put in the work, man. I don't need a Fast and Furious ride over there because I want people to travel to Hollywood to do the street racing ride here, because the street racing life is the LA life, right? That's kind of what the first movie was based off of. So keep that in our city. I mean, that's the culture here. So leave it here.
No, absolutely. And I've told George, and I've even talked to you, Tommy, about an OG, and even so many other people. I can go on and on and on. And
right.
the thing is, I think at this point, the cause for duplicating attractions to put on multiple of your parks, I think that needs to stop. Because personally, for me, when we go out there in March, I told George this, and this goes for anybody, and I doubt people would want to do this as well. People coming from the West Coast like us, going to the East Coast, why would I want to go visit Galaxy's Edge when it's a carbon copy of what we have here at the Disneyland Resort? It's the same thing here. We're getting Hollywood Drift over there. Why would I want a Hollywood Drift? Or they'll probably rename it Orlando Drift over there, but it'd basically be the same coaster, maybe a bigger footprint, different layout because of just how it sits on flat ground compared to ours being on a hill. Personally, for me, I think Ghostbusters would work absolutely perfect, because I think personally we need to start building attractions for certain parks, certain resorts, and keeping it there. That way it entices people to go plan a vacation, to go out there, to go experience it. You know what I mean? And says,
I want Lion King here, but Paris is getting it. So I have to go to Paris for it. So if I have to deal with that, I mean, you guys have to deal with this, man. Come on.
And that's what even drew me even out to even Disneyland. The Hurricane Drift.
I love that.
But that's what even drew me out to California, to experience Disneyland. Everyone said, you don't need to go to Disneyland because you already been to Walt Disney World, and it's two totally different beasts. And you get different experiences with each one. You know, I couldn't go to Walt Disney World for an immersive Cars Land. You know, I couldn't go to Walt Disney World for Indiana Jones. And that's why, am I excited for Indiana Jones going to Animal Kingdom? Yes. Am I going to go on it? Yes. Is it a different storyline? Yes. But it's still the same ride system, ride vehicle. Like, that to me was made for Disneyland. It's like, I wish that they could have done something a little bit more creative with Indiana Jones. I'm more actually excited about Encanto, to be honest with you, than Indiana Jones, because it's a new kind of attraction. So yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Like, I'm not a fan of like copycat attractions, but to Tommy's point, I am a fan of copycatting when they go international.
Exactly. Because how many people logistically can afford to go international? Not a lot of people. A good handful, but not a lot of people. So I don't mind having attractions like Lion King, or for example, one of the Avengers attractions out there coming to our Avengers campus if we decide to one of these days get smart and either put a show in the Hyperion or annex it and use it for Avengers campus. I wouldn't mind that. But when you're duplicating on West Coast, East Coast, that's a problem, because when I can pay $300 for a damn plane flight to fly 6 hours and experience the exact same attraction in different weather climate, that's not worth it to me. Sorry.
I do want to come back to this coaster, but can you bring up OG's comment, the more recent one? Because actually, this is a really good point. If Disney is still going forward with Indy and Florida, and Indy 5 flopped, then Avatar is safe at DCA with the Fire and Ash.
100%.
Yeah, I actually really do agree with that, because it's just the fact of when you take the IP in general, like when you just look at Indiana Jones, like people, it's like a well-known character. Everyone knows the movies, everyone knows the music, everyone. So despite of how the latest movie did, them moving with Indy. So yeah, I mean, if you just look at Avatar overall, you know, despite of how Fire and Ash does at the box office, I think Fire and Ash, depending on what the box office does, doesn't necessarily mean of what they're going to do with Avatar in the parks. I think that's going to depict what James Cameron does moving forward with the franchise in the films.
Absolutely.
Right. So George, real quick, just firing off, maybe yes or no, or the number.
No pun intended.
How many times did you get up in that 4-hour time span from the trailers all the way through the movie? And was there an end credit scene?
To go to the restroom?
Yeah, just how many times did you get up? None.
None. I don't move when I'm sitting.
So you had the depends on then, right?
No, I just said an extra little prayer before walking into the theater.
Okay. Because I know how it is.
Abby did go get up once. Okay. But she did it strategically. What she did was she waited for the scene that came up that we already saw as the sneak preview.
No, smart.
And she's like, you know what? I already seen this scene after Way of Water. This is when I go to the bathroom. And then I'm sitting there and I thought, damn, I should have done that.
Smart. Very smart. I like that. Hey,
but end credit scene though? No end credit scene?
No, we stayed through the whole entire credits because just in case if there was.
Sure.
There was no end credit scene, but from also to when I said to you on the phone, Tommy, was that at the very end, as I said, it can still continue, but if he really wanted to end it, he could.
Yeah.
I can't believe you stayed for the end credits. Like, it literally was probably pushing 4
I have
hours,
to say the song that Miley Cyrus did
was
fire. I love that song, part of that song, which was very ironic because her and James Cameron both were present at D23. They both became Disney legends the same day. So I thought that was kind of ironic that Miley Cyrus did a song. That's probably when they did their negotiation. They had
sitting next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, like, oh, hey, you want to work?
By far.
Right.
Really quick, sorry. Sure. So really quick to the coaster. The reason why I would lean more towards Ghostbusters with it too, I feel like Ghostbusters has a much more bigger presence in Orlando than obviously it does out here in Hollywood. They incorporate it into the parade. When they have the parade at the studios, they have a Ghostbusters float and characters going around. They have, I believe they have it in the night drone show. I've only seen the night drone show once, but I do think they incorporate Ghostbusters in that. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought that they did. I can remember. But in any case, even if they didn't, I just feel like there's a much bigger presence of Ghostbusters in Florida.
Well,
that would work better.
Well, to add to that before I play some more is when you looked at Rip Ride Rocket, part of the track actually went through a firehouse building.
Yes.
So that was another clue as well. When they announced that Rip Ride Rocket was being torn out for a new intimate roller coaster. So that was another
it would fit in so well with the theme. And a lot of people would think, well, how does Fast and the Furious, how would that go going in and out of a fire like house building? Well, if you watch a lot of the movies too, when do you ever see a freaking Ferrari or Corvette go out of one skyscraper, fly through the air and go into another skyscraper?
You don't.
It's
you don't. You absolutely.
A little closer, we can see footers and utilities being buried for the service building for the new coaster. In another view of this area, we can see lots of various foundation and footer pieces are being built and constructed here. And here we have a great view of the firehouse in the New York area and the beginning stages of how this area will change in the coming years as this new roller coaster station is being constructed. In this ground level view of some of the construction, we can see some of the views of more footers that are being built and developed in this area. And again, near the Hard Rock Cafe in City Walk, we have a great shot of various stages of footers. We have sheet foundations with circular sets of rebar that are set and ready for concrete pours. Concrete currently curing in rebar forms for the footers here, and buried foundations and footers with wood boxes that are protecting some of the connections here. And in a more recent photo of this area, we can even see the footers have been poured, and there is even some solid progress in this area just a few weeks between when the initial photos were taken until right now. And this is another view of an updated photo where we can see more sheet foundations and footers that are in progress, and more foundation work is being set up for a concrete pour very soon. And in this view, we can see even more footers are being constructed near the City Walk area that is near the new walkway that is also in City Walk. And in a wider view, we can see the footprint of this new coaster has the same narrow footprint that Rip Ride Rocket did, but it will extend a bit further into both City Walk and also in the New York area of Universal Studios. Now, jumping over to another part of Universal Studios, there is construction going on where the former Expo Eats snack location was, which is near the Central Park and Kids Zone area of the theme park. And this is the current construction of the new snack stand that is replacing Expo Eats in this area. And speaking of DreamWorks Kids Zone area, we talked about in a previous construction update that there is some work going on for the splash pad in Shrek's Swamp for Little Ogres, and this is the current status of that work. All right, jumping over to Islands of Adventure, we know there will be something new coming to the Lost Continent as there are construction permits, which is rumored to be a Pokemon land that is going to be replacing the Lost Continent. Now, if you want to know more about that permit and what is likely going to be coming to the Lost Continent, you can check out another video on this channel that discusses all that in further details that I will link above. But for now, though, we can see major demolition and construction has not yet started, but we can see some trees were recently removed in this area right here. And while demolition has not started yet, we can see that prep work for demolition is happening as construction fencing is being staged at the now closed Poseidon's Fury attraction. And previously, we do know that there has been ongoing work at the bridge between the Lost Continent and Seuss Landing, and we can see there is still scaffolding and some scrims on one side where railing work continues. Now, jumping over into Epic Universe, we also know from permits that there is an expansion coming to the Ministry of Magic. We also know that there is an expansion coming near Super Nintendo World that was recently announced in permits. And more recently, there was actually construction work in and around Epic Universe, as there was a fence put up to block some of the views of the water treatment plant near Stardust Racers. And here we can see that fence is completely finished, and landscaping along that fence also looks to be completely finished as well. Now, an interesting element that we saw during the Epic Universe construction was the monsters that were on display at the former Monsters Cafe in Universal Studios were saved, and they were on site during the construction of Epic Universe. And we can still see in these photos that those displays are still around, and not sure what the future plans for these figures are, but it does seem Universal has something in mind for them, as they have been recently spotted just laying on the ground behind the Frankenstein Manor in Dark Universe. And speaking of Epic Universe expansions, we can see the first expansion of Epic Universe has started, as this expansion is between the Super Nintendo world and the entrance Chronos to Epic Universe, and land clearing here has begun. Now, Universal hasn't confirmed what this expansion will exactly be, but according to permits, it's likely for some sort of entertainment area, which could end up being for corporate events, team member areas, etc., and not likely some sort of major expansion for everyday guests of Epic Universe. And there's also construction staging that is starting near Epic Universe, and this area was recently cleared, and there's also trusses and other materials in this staging area.
Really quick, if you could pause it real quick.
Sure.
And here we can get...
I will say, now Universal does have the land to be able to add extra, building capacity for like special events, corporate things, because I mean, the whole section of where Epic Universe is 700 acres.
Yeah.
I mean, that they have to play with. I mean, so they can kind of get creative as much as they want. But I'm just a little bit shocked that they would use that expansion platform, that's right next for Super Nintendo. Like, I would have thought that would have been for another, attraction or something than just a building for events.
That's what kind of gets me, because I kind of thought, when they built the Helios Hotel, which is literally directly connected to Epic Universe, I kind of thought they want to design that where they kind of had corporate events at that hotel, and then use the park to maybe close Epic or certain lands early for corporate events. So for them to kind of take that, like George is saying, and kind of take that expansion slot right next to Nintendo and use it for something that's corporate related and not everyday guest, relation, it's kind of questionable why they're doing that when, 99% of, I'm going to say 4-star or above hotels like the Grand Helios usually have multiple banquet rooms. And the Grand Helios, George, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that Grand Helios has a massive, is it like a huge ballroom on the top floor, or is it a restaurant, or is
it's more like a restaurant, like bar kind of, like where you can outlook into the park and what have you. But as I said, I mean, 700 acres, I mean, they could have got creative and did something like, as far as like within the footprints of the park itself, I would have used every expansion pad as possible for like attractions or what have you. Now Remy E did say they have another expansion pad next to Donkey Kong that's much larger. I think that's where Zelda will be going. Now I wanted to ask you guys, do you think Zelda is going to be part of Super Nintendo as or do you think it's going to have its own like thing?
I think there's going to be a portal, like how they do Donkey Kong, and it'll go into Hyrule.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it will be part of that. I don't think it's going to be a separate thing. Now, again, this is now the third, expansion for Super Nintendo World at Epic, and we're still waiting on the second out here in Hollywood because people feel cheated off that one. And again, I could get the people in the comments riled up, and I can hear everyone saying, "Oh well, they got sound stages in the way." yeah, I understand that, but there's already plans to get rid of those for theme park expansion. But I just find it funny that Epic, again, in Orlando, where tourist destination is happening, they're getting the third version of that. I just find that very, very interesting.
Conductor Epic Universe is Universal's baby, bro. And until you really ingest that and take that in, that's what they're going to be doing. It's just they basically have their own playground out there, and the permits are getting cleared, bro. And they have all that land, like George said. That's they literally said we're going to build this park in 6 years, and they got it up. Yeah, so like that's why I think the UK park is going to be here on the time frame they said.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
But I feel your pain, though, Conductor. I do feel your pain because you always talk about Diagon Alley or Donkey Kong. And, yeah, we didn't get any of those, and now we're getting the Fast and Furious coaster. So I guess we'll let that go first and then see what they do with the Simpsons IP here and then get all those security hubs up and the hotels, and let's see what happens after that. Yeah.
No, 100%. So we'll see. Again, I'm going to hold my breath.
To look at the expansion pad for the Ministry of Magic, where an expansion will be built, as we did see permits filed by Universal for this area. And according to what I have been told, work will begin on this expansion in Q1 of 2026 and is going to be a broomstick style ride coming to this land. Now, if you want the latest update about this expansion, what is likely coming, again, you can check out a previous video that we did make that is linked above that goes through everything that we currently know about the expansion coming to the Ministry of Magic in Epic Universe. And according to people I've talked to, there will also be an expansion coming to the Super Nintendo World expansion pad that is likely to be Zelda. But work on this area won't likely start till sometime in 2027. And there's also work beginning on Catchlight Crossings, which is an affordable housing development being built by Universal Studios that is going to be near Epic Universe. And here we can see the beginning stages of that work. And before we finish up the update, there's also work going on at Volcano Bay. And here we can see there is work going on for a new roof over a section of the Volcano Bay bus stop. And there was also work recently spotted at the expansion pad for Volcano Bay. Now, it's unknown what this work is for, but it's likely something new could be coming to Volcano Bay in the very near future. All right, well, that's going to do it.
So
I think that's very. I love that. It's like, okay, there's going to be an Intamin coaster, going in the place of Rip Ride Rocket. There's going to be an Intamin coaster going into, in Islands of Adventure. Expansion at Super Nintendo, expansion over a Ministry of Magic. Oh, but let's not forget about Volcano Bay. They're getting a roof over their bus stop.
Yeah, exactly. Just the cherry on top.
It's like Universal has to throw in something everywhere. It's like, hey, if we can't do anything for Volcano Bay right now, let's at least show some love to the bus stop and let's put in the roof.
Exactly. No kidding, right? Haunted Mermaid says this construction keeps going and going. Imagine Disneyland and DCA like this. I would love that.
Conductor wouldn't have a podcast if that was a thing.
Hell, I would probably be at the parks all the time. I wouldn't even have a Conductor Sunday live stream. Jeez Louises. I'd probably have to try to fight the crowds to do a live stream in the park, and all you hear is freaking jackhammers and deconstruction nonsense happening everywhere. Oh my gosh.
Man, Conductor, though, you know how to wiggle through the parks, though, bro. HHN, special event, or just a regular day, you know how to fish through real quick.
Oh, 100%. No, I try to capture as much as I can. That's why I'm so glad I met George and that he's going to be our trip guide for the Orlando trip at Universal and Walt Disney World. And I encourage everybody in the chat to go check out Hollow Gelato for his amazing, awesome content, whether it's his cocktail convos, his out of theater reviews, or just George being George in the park. That's just the icing on the cake right there. You can't say you don't love that. But also, George, I don't want to overstep my bounds, so I'm going to let you kind of take it off. Anyone planning a trip out to Walt Disney World or vice versa, anyone coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, do you have any advice for them?
So for me, anyone planning on doing a trip vice versa, like if you're like from the West Coast going to the East Coast or East Coast going to the West Coast, I always give my advice, to which I wish someone would have given me, because I probably would have been to Disneyland much sooner, is don't let anyone discourage you to say, okay, if you've been to Walt Disney World, don't go to Disneyland. Oh, you live out here, you're a local, you have Disneyland in your backyard, don't go to Walt Disney World. Please don't even take that with a grain of salt. That's like, throw it out, throw the salt behind you, because it's like I strongly recommend to do it. I think we deserve to experience everything. So that way, even if Disneyland is your favorite over Walt Disney World, or Walt Disney World's a favorite over Disneyland, at least you can have a full-fledged opinion on that. And I also say, speaking from experience, dealing with travel and everything, is when you want to do a trip like that, especially if you're doing cross country, do your homework, do your research, go on, their website, see what they have to offer, see some of the likes, the interests that you have, and start making a plan. It's never too early to plan, because I tell you what, time flies by like you have like no idea. I mean, literally, we're going into 2026. Like, literally, this is the end of December. Like, even for us, we have less than 3 months.
Yeah,
like,
that's nuts.
So it's like, so if people say, oh, I have like 7-8 months, I'm good on time. No, like, you nip it in the butt, and you like start planning things out. Luckily, you guys have me, so you guys don't really have to like worry about that. So it's like,
No, 100%. I want to tell everyone in the chat, because I was actually concerned about this. Like, when me and George and Tommy were first talking, I'm like, God, this is a lot of responsibility on George. And this comment right here, like, threw me for a curveball. I swear. George is like, no. This is not stressful. This is not aggravating. This is not frustrating to me. I live for this shit. So bring it on. I love it. Bring it on. And I literally, I was laughing on the phone for 2 minutes straight. And George is like, are you okay? I'm like, I've never heard anyone said they want to deal with that type of responsibility before and encourage it. I've never heard that from somebody like that. Most people are like, oh God, logistics. Oh God, this. Oh, yeah. They freak out. They have a meltdown. George is like, no meltdown. I'm just, no.
I'm like, hold my beer.
I'm getting on my computer. Oh my gosh. But again, I encourage everyone to go check out Holo Gelato for his amazing content, Tommy Toon World for his world famous food reviews. And like George said, we are counting down less than 3 months from now. All three of us, for 2 weeks, will be in Orlando for Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando to check out Epic Universe. And
Florida help you. I don't know if there's like enough.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be enough. Work of mentally that they have, because it's like, sorry, Big G's coming back back East Coast.
Exactly. You know what? It's funny. I almost encourage Jared, if he ever watches this live stream, I encourage him to maybe update his life insurance, because things are going to get wild out there. I might even update mine through Costco, so who knows? Remy D had a comment. He's like, "Are you guys doing both Epic and Disney World at the?" So the answer Remy D's question, yes, we are doing all of Walt Disney World, all the parks, and we're doing all the parks at Universal Orlando, including Epic Universe, multiple days. So there are going to be tons and tons and tons of videos, live streams, and I might even film a couple live streams from the hotel or in the park. So definitely
100%.
stay tuned for that.
Rudio.
Oh God, what did he say now? Oh God, Milkshake Boy will be waiting for George at the terminal. Hey, Rudio, if you can figure a way how to contact Jared, I'm not even kidding about this. Contact Jared from Capture the Magic and see if he can have a shirt waiting for George at the terminal that says Milkshake Boy is here. I'm telling you right now, do it. I'm telling you right now, do it. I will lose it if I see that. Security is probably gonna think I'm a nutcase, like I drank too many shooters on the plane or something. Haunted Mermaid 13 says, take your vitamins and electrolytes. Oh, believe me, being with George is vitamins and electric lights. I don't have to take them. I just have to be around him.
Well, and actually, too, with mentioning of what Haunted Mermaid said, kind of going back on that as well. Also, for anyone going to Florida that may not be used to it, definitely stay hydrated. Definitely. And sure. Bring a couple pair of good walking shoes. Don't buy a brand new pair and think, oh, yeah, I'll use, Disney World and Universal to break them in. No, that's the last thing you want to do. You want to have the shoes already broken in, because there is a difference between California parks and Walt Disney World or Florida parks, excuse me, because I'm even including Universal with that. With Universal Hollywood and Disneyland, it's a lot of walking, but it's like, sure. But the amount of walking that these parks are is if you were to take Disneyland and Universal Studios Hollywood and like shoot them up on steroids. So and it's not even just the parks themselves, it's just the resort, because there's just a lot to do and see in the resort itself. So you definitely want to have good walking shoes.
No, absolutely. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being on Conductor Sunday live stream. And again, we're going to do many more of these before our trip, and we're probably even going to do another live stream literally days before our trip to kind of plan it out and let the audience know what we're going to be doing. And I'm sure George won't say everything, because I'm sure he has surprises up his sleeve.
Oh, I have some things planned out already for you guys. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, I'm scared already. I'm scared already, and it's not making me feel good. 7H John says, when is the trip? It's in early March, so we are going to be down there. Was it, George, March 4th through the 17th?
Yes.
Yep. So if you see us in the park, obviously George is very unique. You could spot him a mile away. You could probably find me 10 miles away, because I stick out like a sore thumb. I look like a tree. That's how damn tall I am. So,
well, it's so funny with you, though. It's not even just the fact of us finding you; it's how you find people. Right. I don't know how this guy I don't know how this guy does it. And it's not even just of how tall he is, looking in the radius. He'll find someone that's tucked away in a corner.
Yeah,
that's not even seen. He did it with Abby. He did it like we were at where was it? Is it Knott's? She's tucked away in a corner in a building, through the windows, and he's like, "Oh, there's Abby right there." We're all looking around where? He's like, "Oh, in the building, in the corner right there, sitting in the booth." I'm like, "How the hell did you see her from there?"
Oh my God. I cannot even believe George brought that up, because that was one of the most hilarious moments I've ever had at a theme park during the Halloween season. I kid you not. It was total mischief magic type nonsense, because George couldn't even see him or see her. Tommy didn't see her, and our whole entourage is like, what in the hell are you talking about? And they're like, they had to back up and look in. Oh, there's Abby. So believe me, I have that wicked sixth sense for whatever reason. I don't know. I guess as good as mine on that one. But George, again, thank you both for being on. Where can everyone find you on social media and YouTube?
Absolutely. On YouTube, you can find me on Hollow Gelato, where Abby and I tackle the parks, Disneyland, Universal Studios, Hollywood. We tackle the Florida parks, Disney Cruise Line, Knott's Berry Farm, and not even just the theme parks. We do a lot of events at like the studios or D23, or even like non-theme park events that we just go around different locations and seeing what kind of mischief magic we can get into. But in any case, yeah, you can find us on YouTube on Hollow Gelato, and also follow us on Instagram under Hollow Gelato as well.
Absolutely. Again, George, thank you for being on. Tommy Toon World with his world famous food reviews. Awesome food reviews. It's content you must see to believe. I kid you not. Because when I see this guy in the parks making magic happen with these food reviews, and I'm standing like 5-10 feet away from him, it like OG said, it's legendary.
Can I say really quick before Tommy, because I also too like watch Tommy do it, and I've told him this, and when we were at Magic Key Terrace, is when he does a recording, how he usually does it is he does it actually like a actor or a director would do it, because I've done like multiple sitcom, like going and like being in the audience watching a sitcom, and how an actor actually reads their lines rather than just, okay, stop it, okay, reset everything. They'll stop what they're saying and then repeat it, but in a different way. So like he says his wordings, and then he's like, you know what, I'll think about saying it another way, and he'll just kind of like stop himself and re-mention it. And it's like the time that he does that, and then to literally go through everything in the editing process and produce amazing content that, you know, I have to say kudos to him, because like even though that Tommy, you always say, you know, you take at times a while to get the stuff out, but you know what? You put in the time and the love and the energy, and it really shows. So no matter how long it takes for something to come out, it's like when you release something, you know it's going to be good.
And before Tommy goes, I know you're itching to say your spiel, Tommy, but I have to tell you though, like George says, to kind of bounce back on what he was saying, I literally feel like I'm standing next to the Steven Spielberg of directors when it comes to food reviews, because like George says, you do when you're filming it, I kid you not, he has the little light, he has his camera, he takes different angles, he's going around the food, and by the time he actually gets the bite into it, I'm surprised it's even still warm. So it's just, this guy is like Steven Spielberg with his, you know, camera. Oh my God, it's fantastic. So please, I encourage everybody, go check out Tommy Toon World on YouTube and social medias. But I'm going to let the man, myth, and legend take it away. Where can everyone find you on social media?
Man, fellas, I don't deserve all these kind words. You guys put in just as much, if not more work than me, and we all pull our own end, and you guys definitely go above and beyond on your stuff too, man. Like, it's crazy how your work ethic is, George. You guys are constantly moving. Then Conductor, how quick you are and thorough you are with things. A lot of the times you're first on these things, and in this theme park community, that's what people bank on. I don't, but I know how prestigious it is, and it's crazy how much camaraderie we all built over this amount of time. And like I mentioned, I don't appreciate, or I don't expect all these kind words, but I appreciate everything that you guys
All right, well, fine. If you don't appreciate it, fine. I take them all back.
I know, suck. I suck. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like I don't expect my peers to give me positive criticism, but it's definitely warranted, and it definitely makes me feel valid and stuff, because you never know, sometimes your videos don't get hits and stuff. So I'm always happy to deliver the compliment, and I'm always happy to receive it. I just don't receive it well like others, you know what I mean? But I always feel like I put the work in, and I don't really enjoy it afterwards. But I do appreciate you guys big time. And George, man, I can't wait to hit Florida. Thank you for, taking it over and putting everything together, because it's hard work. Like Conductor said, it's a lot. Especially if me and Conductor were going just us two, we probably wouldn't be lining up all this stuff that you have planned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad that I was able to, that we were going down at the same time, so that we could actually make this a big, this big vacation happen. So my ultimate goal is that I want to see you guys have the best time. That is my goal. If I can walk away from that and you guys come to me at the end of the trip and said, this was a trip of a lifetime, we're so glad that we did this and everything, then I done my job. That's really
it will be
what I want. So yeah, so
it will be for sure.
As I said, I got a lot of stuff planned. I have some surprises for you guys when we get down there. And one last thing, because Conductor, I know that you want to close it up, but I just have to say thank you so much for inviting me on to this stream. Just like how I mentioned with Tommy, you do a hell of a lot of work yourself that you put in to your streams and your videos. And even at times, when we're in the parks and we're creating stuff together, it's I think, that we all kind of put our own kind of flair to it, but it all just, it works. But to Tommy's comment of you getting there first, I'm going to say a quote from Monsters Inc. when they're walking to work and they see that big giant creature that's standing right next to them. And Mike's and Sully says to Mike, see, Ted's walking to work, and Mike says, big deal. He takes 4 steps and he's there. It's
hey, you know what? To George's point, it does for every 4 steps I do, George takes 1 step. So
that is true. Conductor can take long long stretches of walks, and then there's me kind of shimmying like a ballerina behind him trying to catch up.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Oh, hilarious. But again, thank you guys to our amazing guests, and I want to thank all of our moderators tonight. We had Theme Park Wizard, Orange Go 55, our newest moderator, Haunted Mermaid 13. We had Remy D in the house, 7H John. We had, let's see, who else we have? Giant Peter, Adventures. We had so many other new people actually in the chat. I can't even keep up. There's so many people in here. Rudio, that will not leave George alone now, apparently. So he's gonna
I think that's going to be his run-on joke now, that anything that comes up, it's going to be the kid with the milk. So
yeah.
I guess if I have to say something, I'm going to give the kid a name. I'm going to call him Jimmy, little Jimmy with the milkshake.
Little Jimmy, I like that. Oh my gosh. Then we got George's wife, Abby, who is also a moderator here on Theme Park Conductor alongside Hollow Gelato. So thank you so very much, everybody, for joining this Conductor Sunday live stream on a Monday. I will see you guys next Sunday, I believe. I got to double check that because I got to double check that. I will find out, though, because I think, what is it? I might do a live Christmas Eve. Maybe. That's a big maybe. So I'll have to find out. But if I don't, I want to wish everybody a happy and merry Christmas, happy holidays. Please be safe. Spend time with your family and friends, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
It is very true.
Very true.
Have a good night, everybody. See ya.